Good morning, everybody. It's been a while since my last address, my last video, and I thought I would update you with some of our recent developments and also to give you some key messages. The first thing to say is our attendance is really good. So thank you, parents, carers, young people, for sending your children to school. We enjoy seeing them. We are once again a school with a soul, so thank you very much for that. And I would say to the children, a huge well done and thank you, because when I see you in the corridors, you are wearing your masks, and our school is a good place to be in that respect. You are following our guidance, and I appreciate it, and I know all the adults in the school do too. You've noticed I wear my mask, obviously, and we're outside, so I take it off. You'll also see the fact that I hand sanitize before I do so. So our procedures are really, really tight. If I could ask you as parents or carers, if your child is showing one of those three symptoms, the new and continuous cough, the high temperature, and the loss of taste and or smell, please do keep them at home. You will need to self-isolate as a household. It should not be the case that an older or younger sibling, brother or sister in our school continues to attend. So thank you for following the national guidance. It's really, really important that we all do so. What I intend to do in this video is just talk you through some of our social zones so you can understand what our school looks like for break and for lunch, and also for toileting arrangements. So this is the ground floor of the science block, and this is our part of our Year 11 zone. So the Year 11 are in classrooms in this corridor and the corridor just above. You can see Sir here at the pastoral desk, who's there to deal with any issues that may arise. If a young person wants to go to the toilet, the member of staff will open the classroom door, check with Sir to see if it's possible. They'll have their plan assigned. Sir will make sure that it's logged, and then the child will go to the toilet, and they will go to the toilet one by one. And for the Year 11s, the toilet is here. So during lesson time, children can go to the toilet one at a time. At break and lunch, the toilets are supervised, but they will go in larger numbers. Let me explain. Follow me through to the Year 11 toilets for break and lunch. So at social time, this would be a duty point, and here we have the toilets for Year 11. And they'll be supervised, one in a cubicle at a time, and one at a wash basin at a time. Okay, so what I'd like to show you now is the Year 11 social time area. So this is break or lunch or before school. Okay, so again, you'll see I've taken my face mask off. There is no need to be wearing the face mask unless the children want to during their break or their lunch time. And the Year 11 social zone would be this whole area here. Up to the library, up the slope, and across. There's more than enough space in this area for our 200 Year 11s. We do ask them to try not to group in groups of more than 4, and we do ask them to try and maintain a degree of social distancing. But they are one zone, one bubble, and when they're outdoors, we are fine. You'll notice that there are lots of tables, because we do appreciate that some of our students prefer to eat their sandwiches or their packed lunches sitting down. Not all of them do, and our canteen, when open, very rarely has a lot of children in having their sandwiches. But you can see there's space here for children to sit to eat. There's also steps that they can sit on, and there's enough space for them to be outdoors, managing the risk and socially distant. So we're now in the area of the school that we call our quad, and this is the Year 8 social zone, which is a a nice large space. They are a big year group, but there's certainly enough space for them here. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of benches where they too can sit and have their sandwiches or their refreshments as they choose. Okay, so I'm now in the Clay Pit Lane entrance to our school, which ordinarily isn't a student access point, but for the year 9s in these times it currently is. So they enter the site through the gates there, and this zone here is where they have their break and their lunch. Now initially we did have an issue because there weren't enough places for year 9s to sit and to eat, so we've moved some of our rotunda seating facilities to the social zone here, and they seem happy with that. It is a large space. It is a car park, but there are no cars in here, so it is a large space for our year 9s. And again, we do try to insist that no more than groups of 4, and to take account of social distancing. When they access our school and they go through the door, prior to that, the end of break and the end of lunch, we're able to get them lined up quite nicely in this car park and to access the classrooms in a very orderly fashion. It really is very, very good, and the year 9s are very good at it. The other thing I would say is we were caught out the first day with the year 9s. We had a heck of a lot of rain come halfway through the lunch. And if you can imagine, with a staggered lunch, some teachers were teaching classes, some teachers had gone for their break. We couldn't put the children into a hall because that would be a mass gathering, and that's not advisable. So halfway through lunch we were presented with a real problem. Well, Miss Field and I called it, and we did get the children in and we got them in classrooms, but we learned from that what we have to do is call wet lunch a lot sooner. And in the instance of being wet lunch, the children are supervised in their classrooms by their teacher. A little bit like what may have happened in a primary school years ago, if I think back to my primary school. I understand that if it's a light rain, we are asking children to remain outside. All our children should have coats, should have a black coat, and they should be warm and they should be dry. And if it's a little bit of rain, well, we think that's okay. We're obviously not going to have children outside if they're going to get wet through, and there we have to call it, and we get them inside as soon as we can. So when you bring in multiplication, we need to get to the next thing. Okay, so we're now in the year 8 zone, and as you can see they have their social time on the quad, which you've seen earlier, and they have these classrooms along here, and with each zone they have a set of boys and a girls toilets for the year 8s, and they also have a lovely teacher like Mr. Hayes here who sits on the pastoral desk to make sure the toilets are supervised during lesson time, or if there's any issues that we need to deal with at that moment in time. So the year 8 boys toilets are open as normal. And you can see there is 4 cubicles and there are 3 wash basins for young people to use. So I'm now in the year 10 zone, and they occupy the English corridor and some of the languages classrooms. And this is their toilets, and what we've done with the year 10s is give them what were staff toilets. So they have individual cubicles down here which they can access during lesson time, one at a time, and during break and social time when they choose to, although it is supervised by a member of staff who stands here. And I've done that duty point 3 times, and there is rarely a queue of more than 4 children going that way. So we've come outside, just outside the year 10 zone, and you can see our new classroom block, which belongs to the year 7s. And the year 7s at break and lunch will go down the slope to the bottom, onto the netball courts, where there really is ample space for them, and even a little green area for them to sit and have their sandwiches or refreshments. The year 10s will come out, and they will then follow the barrier along. And you can see that there really is ample space here in this social area for them at break and lunch, and there are some benches where they can sit and have their sandwiches if they choose to. Unfortunately, we did receive news last week of some positive cases for children in our school. That doesn't mean that they've caught the virus in our school, that means they've tested positive. My actions as the head teacher are really clear on that, and we have an action plan and we have our protocols in place. I phone the DFE helpline, the local health protection team. We look at the seating plans for each lesson. We look at the members of staff who've taught that class. We reflect on the 2-metre social distancing for more than 15 minutes, whether that's been compromised within the seating plan, who may have been within 1 metre for more than a minute, and whether that's been compromised and what action we have to follow there. And then we look to contact home, to meet with the young people, and to issue self-isolation letters for 2 weeks from the point of the symptoms first emerging. So it does require a bit of maths and a bit of the calendar to make sure we get our dates right. You have to understand that in all those instances, I am following the advice of our local public health protection team and following their guidance. We are really grateful that we have so many children coming to our academy. The attendance is really, really good. It isn't, in the ideal world, the way we would choose to operate. We know what that looks like. That's the school as it was, with the canteen open, with hot food being served and children mixing. Given the guidance that we have to work to, the zoning of the school is the best way, and we are doing our very, very best to make sure that young people and adults are safe. We don't pretend for 1 minute that we get absolutely everything perfect, and if you do have a concern, please contact the school. There is an email address on the website, alternatively phone reception, and there will be somebody who will get back in touch with you. Given the demands on our time, it's really hard to say this member of staff will phone you back. But if you call, we will triage that call and somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. We really are taking things very slowly and in a very safe way. It's not the ideal world, it is a new kind of normal, but we are very, very grateful to the young people for coming, for following our guidance, and just being so good about things, because we are a very orderly, positive community within these walls. Thank you for listening.